Whatever you do, don't pull over at night. Last night I was driving home from a family reunion, and it was pretty late. The drive back was about 2 hours long. Most of the drive was on roads with dense bushes and tall trees on either side. You know, the real creepy ones you see in a lot of movies. Yeah, I know. I should have known. But anyways, I had been driving for about 45 minutes and I started getting really tired. You know how it goes, the big yawns and then the droopy eyes. I knew I wasn't going to last, but I tried to push through, I swear, for as long as I could, which honestly was only for another 15 minutes. That's when I started swerving, and I knew I had to pull over to at least take a power nap so I wouldn't be a danger to myself and to others while on the road. The road I was driving on wasn't necessarily completely empty. Like, I would see a car go by every 20 minutes or so I wasn't completely alone. I don't know if that made me feel better or worse about pulling over, but all I knew was that I needed to. So that's what I did. I pulled over to the side of the road, onto the grass, next to what appeared to be an endless sight of tall trees. Honestly, it was so relaxing, seeing the moonlight seep through the cracks. I locked my car, reclined my seat, and before I dozed off, I made a mental note of the time. 11:57. Then off to sleep I went. Sometime later, I was awoken by, I want to say, a moaning sound of some sort. I don't really know, and I don't know where it was coming from, but I opened my eyes right away and I locked my eyes on the radio clock, which read 12:35 a.m. As soon as my eyes adjusted, the sound stopped. Something still felt off though, but I was extremely tired and my car was locked and I was safe from animals. I should have trusted my gut looking back. I should have just left then and there, but I was tired and I fell back asleep. Then later on, I was awoken by the same sound, except this time I knew exactly where it was coming from. It was louder than before, and it was coming from the back of my car right under the trunk. I shot up right away and I looked at the time, adjusting my eyes. It was 1:56 a.m. It was so late, I thought. I tried to look at the rearview window, but it was foggy. All my windows were foggy. My heart was pounding at this point and I was so confused. The moan grew louder and I wasn't going to stick around to find out. So I quickly took out my keys, but my adrenaline caused me to fumble. I let out a little yelp. Shit. Whatever was moaning heard me and stopped and now knew I was finally awake, and so it began to climb on the roof of my car. I caught a glimpse of its back legs through my foggy window as it climbed onto my roof, indenting my car roof on its way towards my hood. I turned on my car and I floored it and I got the hell out of there. Hearing whatever was on my roof flew off and on its way off let out an angry sort of growl. I was probably going 100 down the road. I rolled down my windows to defog, and that's when I saw a car with its hazard lights pulled over to the side. It was probably like, I want to say 2 miles ahead of where I was initially stopped. I see the driver's side fully ajar, causing the car's interior lights to illuminate the whole inside of the car. It was completely empty. I slowed down a bit, but I wasn't going to fully stop. I wasn't stupid, not after exactly what I had just experienced. That's when I heard the most terrifying sound. A woman screamed, and I know what you're thinking. Oh gosh, that's the most terrifying sound. But this wasn't no normal scream. This wasn't something you hear in horror movies. No, this was real. This was a scream filled with pain. I could feel her pain. The scream was so loud that it caused me to scream, and I accidentally slammed on my brakes, causing my car to screech and stopping in the middle of the road right ahead of the abandoned car. Her screams only lasted for about 7 seconds, as they then started to be muffled by the sounds of bones crackling. I looked at my rearview mirror and I saw a tall figure, probably 7 feet tall, crunched over with long arms and its head tilted to the side, coming out from the woods. and it stopped in the middle of the road. Startled by what I saw, I think I was in shock, and I froze for a few seconds. And then it started sprinting towards me, and I think my body took over, and I floored it once more. And this time I did not slow down. I didn't even stop for any red lights on the way home. I made it home way faster than ever. This morning I walked outside, and I found large indents on the roof of my car. And right on the back of my car, right on the bumper of the trunk, was written in dust as someone traced or their fingers or something in the dirt. Wake up, and wake up. I've been checking the news to see if anyone's gone missing or if anything involving what happened last night has been reported, but nothing yet. Did I dream the whole thing? Was it all a panic? I don't know. How do I explain the indents on my car? What happened? All I know is, whatever you do, don't pull over at night. Good night.
Do not listen to this scary story at nighttime or right before you're going to bed. Because I love you so much, I'm giving you this warning because what the fuck? So typically I listen to a lot of Spanish scary stories because I like translating them for you guys. I typically listen to these when my husband's asleep next to me and I'm just like scrolling story through story, right? I will say when I listened to this story, I got full body chills, right? But I was like, okay, cool, I'm saving this. This is gonna be a good ass story, and I just kept going. A lot of the times you guys ask me in my comments like, how do you sleep after reading all these stories? And I'm gonna be honest, I sleep perfectly well. Like typically I'm not scared, and I wasn't scared last night, which is why it's so weird that I had a dream about this fucking story. I guess this story really impacted me more than I thought. So I'm gonna translate the story for you guys, and then I'm gonna tell you the dream that I had at the very end. So there was this girl, she was around 15 or 16 years old, and she lived with her mom. Unfortunately, her mom lost her job and they had no money, so they ended up losing their house as well. So one of the mom's family members tells them that they have a house that they can live in because they didn't want them to be homeless, but unfortunately this house was like away from civilization. This house was in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by like hills and mountains, but since the mom and daughter had nowhere else to go, they accepted the offer and decided to go live in this house. They end up going to the house, and when they get there, they notice the strangest thing ever. Right in front of the door is this big ass tree. Like the tree was so big that when they would try to open the front door, it would be hitting that tree. So the mom thought it was really strange that the tree would be like right in front of the front door. So the people who actually gave them a ride to that house noticed the tree as well, and they told the mom that if she wanted to, they can also help her remove that tree so that it doesn't stop the front door from opening. And she agreed, so they decided to do it then and there. When they removed that tree, on the roots of like where the tree was growing, they see like a skeleton of a baby. The mom says that it looked like maybe someone had buried the baby a very long time ago because the bones of the baby skeleton were just being eaten by the roots of that tree. She said that they didn't end up telling anybody about it. She just, had the tree removed, they saw that, and they just like moved on with their lives. Time passes, and in this house, it's a 2-bedroom home. It's a little small, but it does have a hallway that leads to both of the rooms. Both the mom and the daughter start hearing noises in the hallway, and they realize that it sounds like a little baby. She even said it doesn't sound like an animal, it didn't sound like a kid, there was no like steps walking, it sounded like a baby playing in the hallway. So the mom almost felt guilty because she felt like something had happened there. I mean, they found the baby bones, and she just felt really bad that maybe the baby ghost was there. So she started leaving out baby toys in the hallway. I already have chills. So after leaving the toys in the hallway, the mom says that they would then start hearing this baby playing with those specific toys that were left out for it. She mentions that nothing scary would happen, but she did feel that over time, the baby's energy was growing and growing. So one day, the mom and daughter get into a really big fight. And I mean, they were screaming at each other, like they were going at it. And the daughter ends up going to her room and like slamming the door. And mom also goes to her room and slams the door. So when the mom goes goes into her room, slams the door, and sits alone, she realizes that maybe she was a little tough on her daughter. Mom felt so bad and so guilty that she's like, I'm gonna go to her room and I'm gonna, apologize and let's try to talk through it. So the mom goes and she knocks on her daughter's door, and of course the daughter didn't answer because she was pissed. After the daughter not answering her door, the mom still decided to open the door, and she starts off with, look, I really need to talk to you. And then she stays silent. The daughter was laying on her bed and she was like, what? That's when the mom was like, get up and come with me. And the daughter's like, what? And the mom's like, get up and come with me. The daughter's like, I thought you wanted to talk to me. And she goes, shut up, get up and come with me. So once the daughter realizes that something is going on because the mom was really seriously telling her to get up, she gets up. Her mom grabs her by the hand, they leave her bedroom, close her bedroom door, and the mom takes her back to her own room. So the mom explains that when she opened her daughter's door and told her, I need to talk to you, she looks at her daughter that's laying on the bed and she sees a baby on top of her daughter's chest. She says that the baby was not a normal baby. When the mom was telling her daughter, get up and come with me, that baby would hold on to her daughter even tighter, looking at the mom and smiling at her. Oh my god, look at my heart. I think the reason why I imagine these stories in my head, so I'm seeing this shit like a movie in my brain. Can you imagine? She walked in there feeling so guilty that she got into a fight with her mom, tries to talk to her and fucking sees a baby on her daughter's chest as she's telling her, get up and let's go. Baby hugs her daughter tighter while looking at her smiling. They left that house that night and never looked back, didn't go back to investigate, didn't want to know what the fuck happened there, because at that point it wasn't just a little innocent baby ghost, because she saw a baby, but it was not a normal looking baby. Now for my dream. So in my dream, I'm laying in bed. Leave it to me to take naps in my dream too. And next to me is one of my exes, because my dream wasn't scary enough. And in my dream, I'm waking up because I'm feeling something crawling up my body. And when this thing finally gets to the very top, I see a scary looking baby with fucking crazy teeth. And you know how like in your dreams you can't fight, it's like slow motion? Well, as soon as I saw that face, my hand was like trying to push it away. I mean, the baby was like biting my hand, and I was like, what do I do? Because I'm moving so slowly. I was pushing that baby towards my ex, who was still asleep, because what the fuck, take him, not me. But this baby wouldn't give up. It kept trying to come at me, and to the point where I'm slowly moving my fucking head away. It doesn't sound as scary, but like it was fucked up in my dream. Okay, so the baby's still crawling, and once it's like face to face to me, I guess I got so spooked that I woke myself up. All it had to do was go to my ex, like, why the fuck would you want me? But no, I got really scared. I woke up and I was like, what the fuck was I dreaming about right now? Anyway, I hope you don't have dreams about this story.
Ok, tai vakar kėliau Storytime apie tai, kaip Amerikoje nėra saugu būti mergina, nes dabar čia gyvenu kelis mėnesius ir jau turiu kelias patirtis su tuo. Tai galit nueiti pasižiūrėti ant Storytime'os apie tai, kaip mane vakare 11, kai buvo tamsu, po darbo sekė su mašina be numeriais. Bet noriu šiandien papasakoti jums apie pirmą įvykį, kuris gal nebuvo toks baisus, nes buvo dar tik tai 8 ir nebuvo sutemę, bet tai jau buvo toliau nuo mano miestuko, tai buvo prie salės, į kurią aš einu. Realiai žiauru tokiam dalykui daryti antrą dalį, nes kiek aš čia būnu kelis mėnesius ir jau pasitaikė toks antras atvejis. Tai kaip ir sakiau, išėjau tiesiog į salės, buvau apsirengusi paprastai, su paprasta sportinė maikute, su treningais, 2 kodukais, iš vis net nepasidažius, ir laukiu savo trolio. Yra toks dalykas su trolibusais, kaip aš vadinu troliu, kad jam turi tiesiog pamojuoti, nes jie neturi normalių stotelių. Ir ten, sakyčiau, prie Walmarto iš vis tokia ganėtinai atokesnė vieta, gal keli pigesni tokie viešbučiai, ir tu ten tiesiog sėdi bei lauki to savo autobusiuko. tai ten irgi sėdėjau prie tokios aikštelės viešbučio, kur nieko ten praktiškai nėra, ten gal keli žmonės tik tai apsistoja, tai aš jau pamačiau, kad važiavo tokia balta labai didelė mašina ir toksai visai kreipi dedukas, tai jisai irgi taip lėtai aplink mane apsuko ratą, aš jau prisižiūrėjau visokių true crime, tai tiesiog užgesinau telefoną ir žiūrėjau per juodą ekraną į atspindį. Na, bet galvoju, gal jisai čia šiaip sau atvažiavo ir jam reikėjo apsisukti, nes jisai nuvažiavo toliau į kitą pusę ir aš vėliau žiūriu, kad ta mašina iš priešpriešos grįžta atgal. Tai jisai papypsino, man parodė šitokį ženklą ir nuvažiavo toliau. Bet irgi, dar vis galvoju, na čia šiaip su žmonės įsidirbinėja. Tai vėliau žiūriu, mano trolis jau atvažiuoja ir aš lipu į tą trolį ir žiūriu, kad ta mašina balta dar kartą apsisukus, tai realiai jisai 3 kartus suko aplink mane ratus ir jinai buvo kaip tik už trolio. Tai ačiū Dievui, kad atvažiavo trolis ir aš jį lipau, nes nežinau, ką būčiau darius, nes ten irgi tokia vieta, žmonių nėra ir net nenoriu žinoti, kuo būtų pasibaigę. Tai va todėl va šitas Storytime'as ir nėra toks baisus, nes nežinau, kaip viskas būtų ten vykę. Gal jisai tik šiaip sunorėjo man kažką pasakyti, bet tikrai Amerika nėra ta vieta, kur tave tiesiog nusprendžia kažkas random pavežti, jeigu pamato, kad tu sėdi. Čia tikrai ne toks pasaulis vyksta kaip Lietuva, bet irgi iš tikrųjų buvo visai baisu. Na, šiaip jeigu nori daugiau Storytime apie Ameriką, turiu Instagram'e įkelusi highlightą, kur esu tikrai jau prikelusi labai daug įvairiausių dalykėlių. Ir vakar žmonėms patiko istorija, kur pasakojau, kad man teko apsilankyti gydymo įstaigoje ir kokių man ten vaistukų išrašė ir kokia ten realiai komedijos šou buvo. Ir supratau, kad jums patiko iš to, kiek žmonių man atrašė į tą istoriją. Tai irgi aš jau kelusi highlightus, nes tikriausiai jau bus pranykęs tas istorijas, tai galit nuvaryti pasižiūrėti mano Instagramą @pronchik.
Can we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
They went to both.
Yeah.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
So this happened to my husband and I about 30 plus years ago. And maybe it's the Halloween spirit, but I'll go ahead and tell it. My first TikTok ever. We were watching a friend's beautiful Victorian outside of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. They were away for a week and we were staying there, my husband and I. And we were watching the house primarily because they had this standard poodle, Bryn, who had a spinal injury, so she didn't have use of her hind end at all. And at night, she would get baby gated into the kitchen. It had a linoleum floor in case she had, accidents. But there was a baby gate in the hallway and one to this little sitting area. And we had gone to bed. We put the gates up and tucked her in, and went to bed. And it was a spooky house unto itself. It was beautiful Victorian, and it happened to be a very stormy, rainy night, lightning and the whole thing, whole works. And in the middle of the night, the electric had gone out, the power had gone out, and it was crashing thunder and lightning. And I hear Bryn kind of howling downstairs and crying. And I wake my husband up, and he reaches for the flashlight, and we're going down the steps. And we get to the kitchen, and baby gates are up, and we shine the flashlight. No Bryn, nowhere. But she's crying, and we're like, where is this coming from? And on the other side of the baby gate, in the little sitting area, was the door to the basement. And it had one of those old slide locks, and the slide lock was locked. Baby gate up. This is on the other side of the baby gate. Different background. Family came in, and it got really busy and noisy. So Brittany's crying. We can't find her. She is not in the kitchen area. And we realize she's crying from the basement. The door is on the other side of the baby gate that is locked. The basement door is one of those old paneled wood doors, again with the slide lock. It's in the bolted position. My husband hands me the flashlight. He unbolts the slides the door. I shine the flashlight down as he's going down the steps, and there she is at the bottom of the steps. Big eyes glowing in the flashlight light, staring up at us at the bottom of the basement steps. So he goes down and he gently scoops her up, walks up the steps, and we don't say a word to each other. I am absolutely freaked out. I can barely hold the flashlight. We put her on her dog bed, make sure the gates are secure. My husband shuts the basement door. We slide the little brass bolt over in the down position. We go back up to bed. I can't close my eyes. He is out in 2 minutes. I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes goes by. It's still storming. We still don't have power. We hear Bryn crying again. He bolts right up. He sits right up. I said, oh my God. We get the flashlight. We go down the steps, expecting something different. She is not in the kitchen. Baby gates are up. She is in the basement. We open the door, slide the bolt open, and there she is again at the bottom of the steps. Again, she cannot walk. She has no use of her hind end at all, and she's a big, big standard poodle. He scoops her back up. We go back up, tuck her in, go back to bed. We're both not sleeping. Maybe a half hour goes by. She's howling again, and she's really howling. It was kind of it wasn't a whimper. It was really scared. I am literally holding on to the back of his shirt as we're going down the steps into the hall, knowing full well she is not going to be in the kitchen. It happened 3 times that night, that she was down the basement with the bolt slid shut. Many years later, we ran into, actually my husband ran into our friends, and it was, good 20 years later. And my husband said, hey, we've always wanted to talk to you about this, but is your house haunted? And he said, oh my God, absolutely. We have jewelry and articles of clothing that go missing for months, and we come home and it's laid out on the bed. And many other things that they did not tell us when they asked us to babysit that house. So really unnerving night. A couple of things happened during that week to us personally, but it was really scary. And looking back now, we think, did that happen? Because it was so supernatural to be able to physically pick up a dog like that, knowing what it was doing or whatever it was, and knowing how it was going to affect us. I really think about it now, the psychological part of that, the intelligence of this particular haunt. It's a family favorite story that we've told our kids now that we have kids, and we share with friends that are like, Mom, Dad, tell the story. And we both look at each other like, did this happen? And it did.
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
Do you guys want to hear a scary story? This one is a quick one, but blood curdling will definitely make you stay up tonight. So this was towards, and for context, I used to babysit for an extremely haunted house, and there's 2 girls I babysat for. The oldest one, I called her Luna. The younger one I called Aura. This is to protect their identities. So Luna was very attached to a demonic entity called Pete that presented itself to her as an imaginary friend, but was way bigger than that, obviously. Aura was always afraid of the things happening in the house. Luna saw it differently because that's what it was presented to her at the time. So basically, towards the end of me babysitting for this family, because I babysat for years, Luna was finally starting to realize that these things are not normal and this is not an imaginary friend. And Pete started dropping his mask and appearing to her how I saw her. Or I'm sorry, I saw him and how Aura saw him, which was terrifying, demonic, scary ass figure to see. He started showing himself that way to Luna, who he normally presented to as an imaginary friend, like a little boy. So she started to get afraid of him towards the end of me babysitting. And there was one night in particular, I remember I went to sleep, like I laid down with the girls. Another story, another video, what had happened earlier the night, we'd had some things happen that we were all very uncomfortable with. And I, as like a babysitter, did not feel comfortable with them falling asleep alone, to be honest. And I also was scared. I didn't want to be by myself either. So I'm laying in bed with them. They had separate rooms, but this particular night, like, we went to sleep in the same room. So it was basically me in the middle, and then I had like Luna on this side of me, or on the other side. I'm not actually sleeping, obviously, right? Like, I'm just waiting for them to fall asleep, and I'm planning on staying home till a parent gets home. Like, there's no way I'm sleeping at this point. And basically, so I'm obviously not planning on like sleeping actually, but I'm just laying there. And Luna taps me on the shoulder, and like I look over because Aura was sleeping. And I was like, what's up? And she's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay, like, I'll go with you. And she's like, no, like, it's okay. I'm okay to go. And I'm like, are you sure you want to walk to the bathroom by yourself? Like, I didn't even want to walk to the bathroom at that point. But I also did not want to leave Aura, the younger one, alone. And she's like, no, the bathroom is literally like the room next to it. She's like, I'll be right back. I just have to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, okay. And I'm waiting there. I'm laying in bed. And I roll over to like look at Aura and make sure she's okay. And I'm just like, looking at her sleep. She was just adorable, right? And I'm just like kind of scared somehow, so I'm just like checking out to see if she's actually sleeping. She looks so cute, looks so sweet. And then I feel the bed sheet move, and Luna, you know, gets back in the bed. And I didn't see her walk back into the room at first, so, but it had been a night, right? And then when she got into the bed on the other side of me, Aura starts like moving, like she felt the motion of the bed. So I put my hand on Aura's shoulder to like keep her asleep. And I feel the blanket behind me, like, obviously, you know, she's in the bed. Pull the blanket back up to her shoulder. I feel the blanket move up. This is so scary. This is actually one of Luna's memories she told me about, so keep that in mind too. I pushed this out of my head. And then I feel a hand on my shoulder. Or like, felt like something like this. Like someone was rubbing like right here on my shoulder, where she just like came back in bed. And I was like, oh, like, hey, baby, like, shh, 1 second. I wasn't looking at her, but I'm like, shh, 1 second. Still looking at Aura, trying to keep her asleep. And it's silent. And I'm like, no way. And I said, Luna. And then I hear a really, like, deep, guttural, grown man sounding snore, like, in my ear. And I immediately jumped up. Like, I just sat up like this, but I didn't look behind me yet. So I'm feeling this on my shoulder. I sit up, and I'm not wanting to look behind me. Like, I know what's happening. I don't care anymore about Aura waking up. I'm like, Luna. I scream like, Luna. And she's from the bathroom. I can hear her. I'm coming, Riley. I'm coming, Riley. And then I feel the blanket move next to me on the side where I think the whole time Luna's getting back in bed. Luna's not in bed. Luna's in the bathroom, so I feel the blanket start pulling down, like, off my shoulder. Like, it's pulling from that side of the bed, and it's pulling almost off the bed. And I finally get the courage. I turn around, and I just look. And I see nothing, of course. And I go to part of the blanket was, like, because I said it was being pulled off of me, part of it had dragged onto the floor. So I pick it up, and when I pick up the blanket off the floor, I just see the end of, like, fingertips coming from under the bed. But they are decrepit, decaying, black, charred, like, looking fingers. And I just see, like, kind of from, like, here forward, pull back under the bed. I know it's not a real person at this point, and so I don't check to investigate. I'm just, like, losing my mind at this point. Luna runs back in the room, and I look at her in the doorway, and I'm like, run. And she ran and, like, jumped on the bed, and I'm holding her. And she was like, you didn't have to check on me. I said, what do you mean when I called out to you? She's like, yeah, you didn't have to check on me. Everything's okay. It's okay. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, check on you, baby? Like, and she said, oh, just how you peeked into the door when I was going into the bathroom. No one peeked in the door. I was in bed the whole time. And there is nobody else that is living human in this house. But yeah, that was one of my worst ones, and I still get scared to fall asleep anywhere besides on my back, to where I can't, like, see anything on either side of me, because I think that's why I kind of forgot about that story, but subconsciously it's always been in my head, and nightmare fuel. That's all for now. Bye.